Thank you. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bishop, we're happy to share the data to address the domestic violent extremism with you. It is clearly the #1 threat. I'm going to move on a little bit beyond how the withdrawal from Afghanistan has a significant impact on our southern border security. It seems quite remote, and even our witnesses seem to say that we don't know who's in the 6 to 100,000, so it's pure speculation. I would really like for us to be doing really meaningful oversight of the longest war we've ever had in Afghanistan, 20 years. But the reality, of course, is that proper oversight does not start on January 21st, 2021. There's a lead up and a situation that any commander-in-chief inherits. Colonel Douglas, wouldn't you acknowledge that any decision that a commander-in-chief makes must factor in what the previous commander-in-chief did?
So while that might be a factor, I think what we also have to take into account is the advice that was provided through military officials, and that was the retention of 2,500 personnel to maintain stability and security in Afghanistan.
And do you think 2,500 personnel would maintain security in Afghanistan for an extended period of time?
So based on my own experience in talking with Afghans that I worked, lived, and served with, that one American can make a difference. And that ties to what Napoleon said of the moral is to the physical is 3 is to 1. Really, an army of lesser size can beat any enemy if they've got the belief that somebody's going to stand with them. And their belief was that one American showed that they had American support. So yes, I wholeheartedly believe 2,500 would have maintained stability.
I appreciate that anecdotal evidence of talking to a few people, but let's point out that Secretary Austin testified on September 28, 2021, quote, "If you stayed in Afghanistan at a forced posture of 2,500, certainly you'd be in a fight with the Taliban and you'd have to reinforce yourself," unquote. Dr. Schroden, or Colonel Douglas, let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the November 11, 2020 order to withdraw all United States troops from Somalia and Afghanistan by January 15th, 2021?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay, well, I'd like to introduce it into the record. It's quite short. And I'd ask unanimous consent to introduce the November 11th, 2020 memo from the Acting Secretary of Defense, subject withdrawal from Somalia and Afghanistan.
So ordered.
Quote, "I hereby direct you to withdraw all U.S. military forces from the Federal Republic of Somalia no later than 31 December 2020, and from the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan no later than 15 January 2021. Inform all allied and partner forces of the above directives. Please confirm receipt of this order. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump." Now, Chairman Milley has previously testified before Congress that he received this order from the White House's personnel director, the PPO director, Johnny McEntee, and that it had not been vetted by anyone in the Department of Defense. Colonel Douglas, is it standard operating procedure for the PPO to issue troop withdrawal orders without any consultation of the Department of Defense?
Sir, I wish I could comment on that, but that would be clearly outside of the scope of my position or any position that I had experienced in my time in military service.
Exactly. Ms. Ledeen, what about you? What do you think of that process?
Congressman, you want me to speak to Somalia?
No, we're here on Afghanistan and getting an order from PPO that wasn't vetted through DOD. Is that standard operating procedure?
I was operating at a level well below having any ability
Ambassador
to
Sales?
that.
Congressman, that's not normal, which is why the White House retracted that order that you referred to.
Right. And then they said that there'll be a drawdown of 25 to 2,500. Is that right?
That's correct, which is the current number of troops we have in Iraq.
All right. I guess my time is up. I would just mention to our majority that I think we all on this side recognize that meaningful oversight of the withdrawal of Afghanistan is very important, and we should be doing that. But we should be focusing not on what started January 21st, 2021 to the present, but throughout the 20-year war, and especially on what prompted the drawdown to 2,500 troops and the order to withdraw all troops from Afghanistan. That has to be part of meaningful oversight, and I hope it can be as we move forward. I yield back.